Hello and welcome to DFS Coach Talk. Today is Tuesday, September the 27th, 2022. I am Joe Sarvati, affectionately known as Coach, and I am joined by the one and only Mr. Josh Crash Davis. Crash, how are you on this Taco Tuesday?
Doing well, Coach. Doing well. Last night it was looking like takedown city for me. And then the rest of that Baltimore and Boston game played out. And that was just home run after home run after home run. It's just way too much scoring, and I didn't have enough of the right bats. So ended up being an okay night, but not what I was hoping for.
Yeah. It's a nice lineup, though. You had some really good plays in there, no question about it. I'll tell you though, I love this main slate tonight. 12 games, main slate on DraftKings, Fanduel, and Yahoo. No weather issues on this 7:05 lock. And man, am I fired up. I'm definitely ready for this one.
Let's get into it.
Yeah, a couple of things real quick. I posted right when I got in here the website Squad Locker. It's SQUADLOCKER.com. If you want any cool Coach Talk gear, that's the place to go. Squadlocker.com. Just type in DFS Coach Talk. I just got the new sweatshirt delivered today, and man, is it comfortable! Nice Nike soft one. And I know you've got the new hat that you won off of me for that Corbin Burns side bet.
Right.
So we'll call it the Corbin Burns blue hat, but just wanted to let everybody know if you do want any Coach Talk gear, we set up the store there at Squad Locker, and we don't make anything off of it. We just pass on whatever savings there is. Everything there is super high quality. It's either Nike or Under Armour or one of the really top brands. So check it out if you want some of this cool gear. That is the place to go, and we'd love to have you guys repping us out there. We're going to start giving away some gear too, some Coach Talk gear. When instead of tickets for a while, we'll start giving out some gear coming up here as well. All right, I want to say hello to everybody. We got a nice group in here. I know we're later start than normal, so we're not going to mess around. We've got lock in an hour and a half, so we have plenty of time. We're going to go through the whole 12-game main slate, break it down, give you the ownership as far as stacks and pitching, our pay-up plays and BVPs, all our normal stuff. We'll go over all of that. And then I wanted to mention tomorrow, our new adopted official time we decided on was going to be 3:45 p.m. Eastern. So we're going to do that one tomorrow. Crash and I are going to go live on there. We're going to try to do the majority of our pods at that time to get everybody used to that and see how it works out with everybody. So wanted to let everybody know that on the front side. Hello, Nathan Feudy. You were the first one in today. Shout out to you. Nice going. Jim Parrish, good to see you're in there with us. JT, DePrince, Rodney Pollard, Pain Blank SM, also known as Dead Presidents. Our boy from Cali is in there. David Dulac, the handsome one himself. Derek Wilson, great to see you in here with us, Derek. Love when you're able to join. King of all trades, King Moses. Great to have you in there. So great group. Let's grow on it here and break this down and really put some winners together. I spent quite a bit of time on this slate because it was a little tricky. Then we had that Houston pitcher change. That changed things up a little bit. So what's your initial feel on this main slate in general, Crash?
I like it. I'm usually a bigger fan of the smaller slates, but this is a little bit smaller than, like a 15 or 16 game slate. We've got 12 games. So I think there's some solid plays in several different places. So you don't have to, have everything come from one game or two games or something like that, which is what happened last night. But, with only 4 games. So yeah, I like that side of it. I do.
The cool thing about it too is we don't have any Coors game or Wrigley Win game or any thing that really jacks things up. So it gives you a good look at really building how you want to build your lineup. And there's a little chalk, but not real bad. So it's really open for a lot of good plays and different style builds. So hopefully we'll be a little bit different. We were almost identical yesterday.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're going to be different today. Yeah.
Yep. I'm feeling so spiffy in this new Nike. I'm ready to go, man. This sparking up with the new uni here. I wanted also, before we get started, I just wanted to say, if we have any members in that Florida area, prayers with you, man. That storm looks just atrocious. So really hope everything goes well for everybody down in that Florida area, or wherever even it goes from there. Prayers up for everybody in that area. Stay safe. And if you need to evacuate that area, like they're saying, just get the heck out of there. Don't mess around and take any chances. So really hope everything goes well for anybody in that area. All right, Rose Miller, great to have you in here with us. Tony A as well. All right, we're just going right straight to the 12-game main slate. We're not going to mess with these early silly games. It's just not worth it today. Go with this 12-game main slate. It is just too good, and we're going to stay focused on it. So we're going to start out. First game is an interesting one right off the bat as far as from an ownership standpoint. It is the Atlanta Braves and the Washington Nationals. 66 degrees, wind blowing out to right at 8 miles an hour. 8.5's the total. 5 implied for the Braves. 3.5 for the Nationals. Kyle Mueller, 11 lefty, 7.4K. Paulo Espino, 5.4K for the Nats. And Crash, are you going to be on the chalk Atlanta stack?
I am, and Austin Riley is going to be my home run call. He's 7-16 with a home run against Paulo Espino. I also like running it back with a couple of these righties like Joey Meneses and Lane Thomas on the National side against Kyle Mueller, the lefty. So I kind of am going to play both sides here a little bit. Not too much on the Washington side, but just a little bit to offset so I don't have extreme chalk on my lineups.
Well, the cool thing about it is there's no crazy totals here. You've got, the majority, 8.5 being a couple of games, 9 in that Baltimore Boston one, 7.5, 8, everything's right around the norm. So even though Atlanta's getting the chalk ownership as far as stack goes, the number in this game still respectable enough. But I'm with you, man. I like some Atlanta bats here, and I'm going to go to them. I mean, that lineup looks sweet. Acuna, Swanson, Riley, Olsen, Harris, Contreras, Rosario, Ozuna, and Arcia. That's 1 through 9 confirmed against a guy that's been struggling in Espino. I mean, you got to have some of these at bats, I think, bats in the lineup tonight.
I think so too.
Let's take a quick look, if you don't mind, at the stacks, since we're Atlanta's first off the bat here and they're the highest owned. So a quick look at stacks. Crash, tell me if anything surprises you in the top double-digit stack teams here. Atlanta's number 1 at about 15%, projected 12.3 of being the top stack. Houston also getting good attention at 12 with a 7% chance of best stack. Baltimore is 11 with 7. Boston is also 11 with 6.5. The Angels are the other double-digit team tonight against Caprillion at a little over 10 with 6.2. So those are the 5 teams on DraftKings getting the biggest look. On FanDuel, you've got Atlanta number 1 as well, 13 and 12% to be best stack. Boston is 12 and 7, second highest on FanDuel. Angels coming in at 3rd at 11.5 and 7, and Houston at 11 and 7, and then Baltimore at 9 with a 7.5% chance of being top stack. So some similarities there. Yahoo, you've got a similar theme. Atlanta, 14.5% with a 12% chance of being best stack. Angels are second on Yahoo at 9.5 and 7. Houston at 8 and 7.5. Boston at 7 and 6.5. And then Baltimore at 7 and 6.5. So some similarities, and really, other than Atlanta being, decent at 15% as far as large share with 24 teams playing, you can pretty much go anywhere else. But I'm not worried about biting off some of the Atlanta chalk, if you will, because you can get so different in that lineup. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I totally agree there. I do.
I mean, William Contreras in the 6 hole, Eddie Rosario. I mean, those guys are 3-4 hitters on some teams, and they're 6-7 in this lineup.
Right. Yeah.
And they're cheap.
Yeah, they are. They're very cheap.
Rosario is only 2.4. Ozuna 2.6, or Arcia 2.5 if you want to do a wraparound. It is a little more expensive up top, though. But I'll definitely have 2 or 3 Braves in my lineup. And I don't know if I'll go with anybody on the national side. Just their lineup is so bad. But I'm not high on Mueller, though, either.
I might have to play Arcia because I almost played him yesterday. And he got a home run, and he's less than 5% projected ownership. So that could be a good play to get away from, because I was looking at Rengifo, but he's very popular. So
he is real chalky. He's been so darn good, though.
Yeah, he has.
All right, let's go to game 2. Yankees and Blue Jays at 7:07. I believe the roof's closed today because it's cold and a little rainy in the area up around there. So 7.5 total, 3.75 is all implied for both. So pretty low for a Yankees Blue Jays game. Jamison Taillon, 7.3K against Jose Barrios, 6.3K. So Vegas respecting the pitchers here. I don't respect the pitchers that much. I prefer the bats personally. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, I like a few of these Blue Jays because their ownership is projected at very low. I was looking at that earlier today, and let me see here what the latest numbers show for Toronto. Their highest projected bat is Alejandro Kirk at 3.4% on DraftKings. So yeah, they're extremely low owned. But they're also very expensive, so that has a lot to do with it.
Anytime you can get Yankees and Blue Jays bats, though, this low owned, it's hard to get away from them.
Yeah, I mean, you can still get, even on Fanduel, where they're a little bit more reasonable, you can get them at 3% or less owned. So to me, that's very alarming and stands out as a GPP stack to me. So yeah, I like Toronto quite a bit.
I like bats, a couple of bats on both sides here. I just really think that people are respecting these pitchers too much. Yeah. And I think we're going to get some hits here. I doubt I'm going to have the courage or salary because I have 3 pitchers that I'm looking at that I'm going to have in a lot of lineups, depending on the site. Today is one of those days, guys, where you have to go with the salary per site because there's a couple $2,000-$3,000 shifts in salary, and that changes everything for me. So I'm going to be bringing 3 pitchers forward because of the site salary differences. But I will say in this game, I have my home run pick here, Crash.
Okay.
It's not Judge, although I hope he gets it.
Yeah.
And Sean V's not in here. Doggone it. No Sean V, but I'm going with Anthony Rizzo.
Okay. Yeah.
For my home run call. He's, I think it's just a great spot for him. And he's got very good BVP here, 7 for 19 against Barrios with 3 extra base hits. 2 of those are homers. And 1165 OPS, 737 slugging, 429 OBP, and that 368 average. And I just, I like the spot for him. He's due for a bust out game. And he's had a really solid one. And I think Judge, if you can afford him, I agree, go with him. I think he's in a great spot. I still think I thought all along he'd hit it here in Toronto. So I'm still believing that is very possible. So
Yeah.
you can get there as well. But Rizzo will be in there as one of some of the ownership I have coming out of this game.
Sounds good.
All right, let's go to the next one. Keep it moving here. We've got Baltimore and Boston, the highest total in Vegas on the slate at 9. It is 4.31 implied for Baltimore, 4.69 for the Red Sox. 67 degrees, little breeze blowing out to center at 8 miles an hour. Kyle Bradish at 6.1K against Michael Wacha, 7.9K. So top total in Vegas, but not neither team's top stack as far as ownership goes. Are you going to this game?
Yeah, but they're right up there. I mean, they're Baltimore and Boston are both right up there, not too far behind the Braves. I like a little bit of Boston, but I like mostly Baltimore. I think they're in that playoff push, and they're really locked in, and I expect them to win again tonight. So.
Well, I agree. I said it yesterday on the podcast, and I reiterated it in Discord, it's a massive ballpark upgrade for Baltimore. And look how many home runs they hit yesterday. Good Lord.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's, getting out of that Camden Yards where it's so hard to hit the ball out anymore, especially to left. And then being able to mess with the green monster and, the pesky pull down the line. I do too. I think Baltimore is in a great spot here, and I love their pricing. I mean, Mullins is expensive up top. He's my BVP play, and I'm going to spend the money for him tonight.
Yeah.
He's 4.9K. He's had really good success against Wacha. He's batting 500, 7 for 14, 5 extra base hits, 2 home runs, a 1748 OPS. Small sample size, I get it, but it still matters. 1214 slugging, 533 OBP, and just that cool 500 average. So I like him, with that short field and right for him to either homer or extra bases. And he can take the ball the other way off the green monster just as easily and be in the, a double, triple kind of candidate as well. So I do like some of the Baltimore bats. I'm with you there completely, and not adverse to grabbing a Red Sox somewhere in there or two. Verdugo has a tendency to be in some of my biggest winning lineups, so I always like to give him a second look, and he's batting cleanup at an even 4K. So I do like this game, Crash. I'm going to have a lot of chips in the middle of the table in these 705 and 710 games.
Yeah, I'm with you there completely. I've got Devers and at least one other Boston bat, but maybe even 2 more. I can't remember. So yeah,
it's going to be. I will know where I stand early on. There's no doubt about that. All right, let's go to game 3. It is the Miami Marlins at the New York Mets, and it is only 7 as a total. It is 67 degrees in New York, wind blowing out to right center, 10 miles an hour. 2.78 implied for the Marlins, 4.22 for the Mets. Pablo Lopez, 8.6K against Carlos Carrasco, 9.3K. What do you got?
This game I don't really have much interest in. Carrasco is my fade, not because I don't like him, but just because I've landed on my other 2 favorite pitchers. I don't really have much interest in this game.
Okay. Carrasco is one of my 3 pitchers that I'm recommending today. So I'm glad we're back to normal and going opposite sides of things, but
a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he had a stumble against Milwaukee in that last game, but if you watched, it was goofy. A couple of, odd hits, it's one of those games. Only threw 90 pitches, and he is stretched out because he had 104 in the game before that against Pittsburgh.
Right.
And threw a 58 on the board, a 43 against Miami. So, I mean, I think he's rounding in a form. He's their number 3 guy between the two superstars that they have. So I think they want to let him in the groove. I think he gets 95 to 100 pitches at least. And I mean, it's just a great matchup. I think that I think there's no doubt that he can dominate this game, pitch a good solid 7 innings, and have enough strikeouts to get it done. And I think his price is extremely fair. He's 9,300 on DraftKings, 9,500 on Fanduel, and 43 on Yahoo. So Carrasco will be in a lot of my lineups as one of my 3 main pitchers tonight. As far as bats go in this game, Crash, not, jumping out of my seat. Obviously, I don't like any of the Marlins at bats. And that's why, I mean, this is just such a nice matchup for Carrasco. And, a Met here or there wouldn't be bad, but, unless you get to the bottom of that lineup, they're expensive. So you got to commit to the price there. Now, Lopez, I do respect, and he's a grinder. So, it may just be Carrasco and a one-off Mets bat at person for me. That's it. You ready for the 7:40 game?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Chicago White Sox, Minnesota Twins, the lowest total on the board. You have a 6.5 total is it. 53 cool degrees in Minnesota. Little breeze right to left, 5 miles an hour. Lance Lynn, 9.5K against Bailey Ober, 6.7K. What do you have here, Crash?
I like a few of the White Sox. Andrews and Moncada would be my 2 favorite ones. Not really any of the Twins that I like. Lance Lynn, we've talked about this a lot lately. He's been pitching a lot better. I think that this is a good spot for him. So if you wanted to go to him, I definitely think that that's playable. He's not one of my top 2 pitchers on this slate as of now, but I definitely think he's in a good spot.
Well, you said it for me. He is my second pay up / pitcher, if you want, in here that I'll be mixing in as my 3. Just too good of a spot. He's such a grinder. I don't really respect the Minnesota bats. And, it's cold in Minnesota. 53 is cool when there's a breeze like that. I just think it's just classic spot for Lynn. And, he's been just fine. I mean, he pitched twice against Cleveland. The last time, he only had a 22 Fanduel score, but there were 3 unearned runs. It just was one of those fiasco games to just check off the list. But he had pitched well against Cleveland before that. And, his scores prior to that, the 22, which isn't the worst, were 41, 43, 64, 52, 43, 32, 43, 49. So the dude just gets it done. He gets some strikeouts. I see this to be one of those 8-inning type of Lance Lynn games with, 7 strikeouts and just gets it done. So really high on him here. Don't like any Minnesota bats. White Sox bats, they're hard to predict. You got to land on them on the right day. They're inconsistent, and it can drive you nuts. But if you land on a Jimenez or Moncada, those guys have also had some big games for me this year. So a one-off for me for the White Sox, trying not to spend too much salary there. But I'm definitely on the White Sox side in this game.
Yep.
Okay, we have another 7:40 game. There's actually 3 of them. The second one is, you're going to be excited for sure, Cardinals and Brewers. So is Lanny in here? I didn't see Lanny. You got a heads up against your buddy Lanny, man. We're eating a little chalk today, Callie. I mean, some of it is just, it's going to be part of it, but I don't think there's such dead chalk that you have to be afraid today. Right. But anyway, we got your Cardinals versus the Brewers. It's an 8.5 total inside in Milwaukee. I would assume it's going to be closed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a little too cool. 4.25 implied. So it's an even game. It's a pick 'em game, basically, in Vegas as well. It's Miles Mikolas, 8.3K against Adrian Hauser, 6K. So you're the expert on the Brewers. So what do you got?
I like, well, first of all, I think it's going to be a very low scoring game. I think it'll go under that 8.5 implied run total.
Okay.
I think this will probably be like a 3-2, 4-3 type game. And I like on the Brewers, I like Rowdy Tellez, Hunter Renfroe. And if you want value, Keston Hiura. On the Cardinals, Goldschmidt always kills us, so you can go to him. And then I like the lefties, Dickerson and Nootbaar on the St. Louis side. So
be careful with Dickerson and Nootbaar on the pinch hitting, though. I'm telling you, it happens.
Yeah,
a lot with St. Louis.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm not going to have much exposure to this game. I don't like either pitcher. The bats are too expensive for me. I do respect the Cardinals bullpen. Brewers bullpen's not bad either. They've come together lately. So, yeah, I agree with you. I like the under here. I agree that it's like a 3-2 kind of game to me. So, very, very little exposure to me for me in this game. But I wouldn't fault you if you go to a bat or two. I just don't want to spend 5.9, 5.5, 5.3 that you have to spend for some of these big bats like Goldschmidt, Arenado, Yelich, Adames. They're all expensive.
I know they're very expensive. I just saw a little bit of news here. Wilson Contreras is back for the Cubs tonight. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That gets an extra stick in there for sure. All right. We move on to the final 7:40 game, and that's the Phillies at the Cubs. It is a Wrigley game, but not a game where we have to worry about big runs because it's 53 degrees, wind blowing left to right, so nothing going to carry out of there for sure. And Vegas knows it because it's only a 7 total. And then, this is going to be the big question that has to be answered. We have Zach Wheeler at 10.1K against Marcus Strowman, 7.7K. 4 implied for Philly, 3 implied for the Cubs. And we know that Zach Wheeler has a pitch count, and that creates a big problem, at least for me. What is your thinking on this game?
Yeah, this game is a pass for me. I do like a couple of, if you want to look at a GPP, I do like a couple of the Cubs. They actually have some very strong BVP against Zach Wheeler, Yan Gomez, and or Gomes, I should say, Yan Gomes and Ian Happ would be the two that I like the most from the Cubs.
Okay.
Yeah.
I totally respect Zach Wheeler, but 85 pitches?
75 to 80 pitches total.
75 to 80 is not nearly enough for me. I would have to be 85 to 90 minimum to really, when you have 24 starting pitchers on a slate, I just don't know why you want to spend over 10K. Now, could he be awesome in those 75 pitches? Possibly. The Cubs are not good, but and the temperature's low. But I'm not going to go there. I wouldn't recommend it at that price if unless he had more pitches, looser, chain on as far as that pitch count. So, but I do respect him enough that I'm not going to go to any Cubs bats. So as far as the Philly side against Strowman, I mean, again, if you go with the big hitters like Schwarber, Harper, Realmuto, you're spending over 5K for all those guys. Schwarber back in Chicago there is sort of a fun narrative always. But he hasn't exactly been hitting home runs lately either. So makes it a little bit tough. Don't want to spend up. If I went to anybody for the Phillies, I'd go more back in the middle of that lineup where it's a little cheaper, like a Bohm, Castellanos, who's back, but he's been very inconsistent. Marsh, Segura, Stott at the bottom aren't the worst if you're looking for a one-off bat that's cheap, but not a key game for me.
Yeah, I'm with you.
How about 8-10? Arizona Diamondbacks, Houston Astros in the little dome bandbox there in Houston. 8.5 is the total. 3.45 for the Diamondbacks. We have a total here implied over 5 with the Astros, 5.05. In fact, Zach Davies, 6.5K against Luis Garcia, 8.1K. Give us the skinny.
I don't really have these next two games. I don't really have anything from them as far as the hitting goes. I just, it's a 12-game slate. There's a lot of options out there, and it's just not where I landed. So if I was going to play somebody, though, I think the lefties, Tucker and Alvarez, would probably be where I would start against Zach Davies. And then on the opposite side, I think Dalton Varsho and Jake McCarthy would be good for Arizona.
All right. I've got my favorite stack here, Crash. I like the Astros stack the best on the slate. I love that stadium. I don't like Davies. I don't like the Diamondbacks bullpen. And I want to try to get these bats in. And I know it's not extremely easy as far as price-wise. And I know I can't stack 1, 3, 4 specifically, but you still can find stacks here. Jeremy Pena is in the 2-hole at 4.2. Bregman's only 4.6 cleaning up. I really like him today again. Tucker at 4.8's reasonable. Gurriel cheap at 2.8. Mancini cheap at 3.3. Chas McCormick's only 2K. And if you're punting a catcher, Martin Maldonado can pop one out at times at 2.4. So my point is my stack of Houston isn't just going to be the normal 1 through 4. I'll probably have 2, 3, 4, 6, or 2, 4, 5, 6, something like that, where I'm moving around a little bit in that order. But I really do like the Astros tonight.
Yeah, I totally see that. They're pretty popular, but I get it.
After our slate tonight, Crash, if you want to post for members, we may want to think about it because we have that rarity of having 4 teams. So it plays right in your wheelhouse of 4 teams, 4-game slate. So 8 teams, 4 teams in the after hours. Definitely check it out, members. We may throw some lineups up there.
My 2 favorite pitchers and my stack are all in this slate. So,
I don't have any of my favorite anything except one pitcher here. So my after hours will be like a totally different setup for me. So I'll definitely supply one. So members that are in here, 9:38 is the lock for the after hours. So right around 9:10. We'll jump in there and throw some after hours lineups in there for you. The first game on that after hours slate and part of the main slate, 12 games, is Oakland A's at the Los Angeles Angels, 84, and no win to speak of. 8 is the total, 3.27 applied for Oakland, 4.73 for the Angels. James Caprillion, 5.5K against the lefty. Patrick Sandoval, 6.9. Break it down.
I'm a big Patrick Sandoval fan. He had that monster game against Detroit. He is way too cheap on DraftKings, 6,900. I do not understand that price against Oakland, who's one of the worst teams in baseball.
They just shelled DeGrom.
Yeah, they did. He's 8,900 on Fanduel. So I think that's a lot more appropriate for how he's been playing. But 6,900, there's just no way I'm going to pass it up on DraftKings. And then I think he's like 42 on Yahoo, so it's decent price over there too. But I like him a lot against the A's. I think that they're a little bit overconfident or whatever you want to call it, coming off that game against DeGrom, and I think that Sandoval will shut him down. So
okay. I totally respect Sandoval. I don't like any of the A's bats, but Sandoval just didn't quite make the cut for me, even though he's grossly underpriced on DraftKings. There's no doubt about it. So, he'll be on my after hours lineup for sure. As far as Angels bats, Caprillion is not that good. He's just seems to be doing a little better, but again, you're in that dilemma with the Angels on price. I mean, Rengifo at 4.4, leading off, massively chalky. I like him. I really like him, and I think he's a great play. But can you afford Trout and Ohtani 6.1 and 6.3? I mean, that's the killer.
No, I can't.
If you do want to go to the bottom of the Angels, there's tons of cheap bats there, but they're not very good.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I mean, Ward, Ford, Duffy, I don't even want to say the guys at the bottom because I can barely pronounce their names and they stink. So I'm not wasting time. Don't play the bottom of the Angels order. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And Soto batting ninth for the Angels isn't the Soto that you're thinking of.
Yep.
Unfortunately, it's Levon Soto. So no relation, by the way, either.
No relation. Yep.
Nope. All right, let's go on to the other, 2 minutes later, 9:40, Texas Rangers, Seattle Mariners. It is a placement pitcher, dude. We got the combo of Jesus Tinoco and Tyson Miller for the Rangers against Robbie Ray from the Mariners. Ray, Chalk City. Pitching-wise, Crash, 4.38 implied for Seattle, 3.12 for the Rangers. And before you break it down, let's go ahead and look at this Chalk Robbie Ray fiasco, because we both got sucked into the Robbie Ray dilemma last time, and it was a nightmare. But he's heavy chalk, Crash. He's 44.6 ownership projected on DraftKings, 25% chance of being top pitcher. So that's intimidating for sure. Sandoval second with the gross underpriced 35%, 15% best. Carlos Carrasco, my guy, 23 and 20. Then you got Lance Lynn, another one of my guys, 19 and 16. Blake Snell, 13 with a 16.6. So he's actually a plus 3.4 on the leverage standpoint. Herman Marquez comes in next, and then it drops off the table. Everybody's single digits after that. But look on FanDuel, Chalk City for Ray. He's double anybody at 33, but only a 9% chance, minus 24% leverage. So it makes me feel a little better. 15% for Carrasco with an 8, 12 for Sandoval with a 6.5, 9 for Lynn and Mueller at 7 and 5. So a big shift down there on FanDuel. We'll finish it off on Yahoo, where Ray is 40.7. Carrasco much closer on Yahoo at 33.5. Lance Lynn 23. Sandoval 20. Snell 20. Logan Webb 18. And Kyle Mueller 16.5. I think I'm losing my voice.
Yeah, I think it sounds like you're about to lose your voice.
I am losing my voice. So many podcasts, and I'm gonna have to get some throat lozenges in here.
Yeah.
But so that's the scoop, man. Let's talk about Robbie Ray, because that's obviously going to be a massive shift in building lineups with that much of a chop pitcher.
Yeah. It was between him and Blake Snell for me. And, this is the two pitchers that have probably burned me the most this year. When I pick them, that they're chalky or whatever, they don't do well. And then, I fade them and they do well. So it's just tough. So,
oh no, you're freaking me out with the Friends glass again.
I am, taking a risk and going with Robbie Ray.
Wow. I'm shocked. I can't believe it.
I'm going with Robbie Ray at home, pitcher's ballpark. I just like him a little bit more than Blake Snell tonight, and that's what it came down to. So,
boy from Cali, can you get the GIF where the guy's rubbing the kid's nose in the chalk? Because it looks like we have a chalk player here in Mr. Crash. Well, I respect Ray. I think it's a great matchup for him. I didn't play him but he's not like my fade guy either. I'm afraid of him, but I don't know, man. So he's going to be one of your premier pay up guys, huh?
Yeah.
I respect it. I know you hate him. So to play a guy that you don't like I know that's painful at times. So I do love it. I do love it. All right. What about bats in that game?
Yeah, I like a little of these bottom of the order bats. I like Kelenic and Dylan Moore and Carlos Santana. So bottom of the order, I like quite a bit more than the top of the order. But at this point, I don't really think I'm going to have any of them in my lineup because it just doesn't fit.
Yeah, these Rangers pitchers are not good, and their bullpen's not good. So, but the total's low, and Seattle has not been hitting. I mean, since J-Rod went down, they just stopped hitting a lot. So I don't have much confidence in Seattle's bats, but one off of either France, Haniger, Suarez, or Raleigh, the 2, 3, 4, 5 guys. Those would be the guys that interest me the most of anybody from Seattle. So a one-off, maybe 2 guys, certainly 2 or 3 guys probably in the after hours, but not going to go with any Rangers bats, but I'm not going to dial up Ray in the chalk. Even if he has a decent game, I think I could survive it. I think I can get there with Carrasco or Lynn. I think they do as well as Ray today, in my opinion. So we will see.
We'll see.
Last 2 games, 9:40, Dodgers, Padres, 77 degrees in San Diego, a little warmer than normal. No wind to speak of, 7.5 total, 3.75 implied for both sides, a complete toss-up, pick'em game in Vegas. Tyler Anderson, the lefty, 9.1K. Blake Snell, the other lefty, at 9.9K. Snell is my fade pitcher today. I think he's coming off a game where he pitched well, but he hit 99 on the gun 3 or 4 times, which he hadn't done in a long time. I think he's a little spent. I think he, took all the gas out of the tank there. And it's the Dodgers, and their sticks are ridiculous. So Snell's still getting some ownership, but I'm not going to play him. I'd rather get to a few of the Dodgers bats. Yeah. And then Padres, middle of that order is good, but expensive. So probably not many Padres for me either.
Yeah, I'm definitely not playing Blake Snell. The Dodgers just have his number. I mean, if you look at the numbers, the Dodgers have struggled with lefties at times, but he's not one that they usually struggle with at all. Last time he faced them in San Diego, he gave up 5 runs. So, yeah, Snell definitely would fade Snell. And then don't really have enough salary for any of the Dodger bats, so I'm probably not going to go there either. Not really going to play the Padre bats either against Tyler Anderson. I respect him enough. He's been pretty solid. I mean, he's 15-4 this year. So, yeah,
pretty darn good. He's been decent, but I didn't really consider him. I never seem to consider him DFS wise, but he's had a good year. All right, a couple of things I want to do. We have 1 game left, and then we'll go over our prize picks, boom calls, and all of that stuff. Couple of things. Number 1, if you want to become a member here at Coach Talk, go to dfscoachtalk.com. You can sign up for any of our packages. If you're a big NBA person, then you want to wait a couple of days to sign up, because we're going to be dropping our NBA season price and monthly price, etc., for the NBA that starts on October 16th. So, we're going to be starting to see some preseason NBA games coming up this weekend already. So we're here for NBA. Also, if you want to check out our Boom Fantasy, our presenting sponsor, there's a link right here in YouTube. Click on that, download the app. Great spot to go for a lot of prop plays and wagers. Also have the link connected here if you're watching on Twitter and on our website and on TikTok as well. Also, if you had some wins and you want to share a little bit and super chat, that goes to our charity. We only have 4 days left for Operation Hope that we're giving any super chats to that charity. You can drop it right here in Discord, or in the live podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And then the final thing is, how about a pair of Millie Maker tickets for Sunday that we have to give away? You know, Deb almost had one of the big takedowns with the Millie Maker freebie.
I know.
She had a lineup that was a top like 1/3%. I mean, it was way up there.
It was
so it can happen.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to spin the wheel. We're going to give 2 nice tickets away for the Millie Maker on Sunday. So I'm going to click the button. And let me give 1 second here. If you haven't made a comment and you're watching, say hello real quickly, because only the people on the randomizer are ones that have commented in the chat. So 3 seconds to do it. 2, 1. All right, here we go. The winner of 2 tickets. And if I call your name, go to Twitter and DM us at DFS Coach Talk. Shoot us a DM there and say, here is my PayPal email address, and we'll send that to you immediately. All right, the winner of 2 Millie Maker tickets, it's the one and only, the Prince. The Prince wins like every other day.
He does.
Prince, you need to play the lotto, dude. You're hot right now. So, Prince, I think we have your deal, but send it to me because I always forget. So, congratulations there. Chris Monty and Ty Johnson, you got in there, but you did get in under the wire as I pushed the button. So, you were in the randomizer. Hello. Thank you for being part of here, Chris Monty and Ty Johnson. If you're new, come back. We're going to give away more and more tickets throughout. So Prince just winning up all the tickets lately. So randomizer likes you. All right, my friends, the last game on the slate. Oh, by the way, if you're digging on this new, I know everybody's saying, damn, Coach looks good today. Look at that nice new Nike sweatshirt. Go to our website that we have set a great store on there, all kinds of cool Coach Talk gear. Just go to squadlocker.com, and I put it in at the beginning of the podcast. If you scan up, you can see it, squadlocker.com, and good prices on really, really quality stuff. All right, last game on the board, my friend, as my voice is going. Colorado Rockies, San Francisco Giants, 945. It is a 7.5 total, 3.13 implied for Colorado, and the Giants 4.37. And it's Herman Marquez 5.7K and Logan Webb 7.2K. 60 degrees in San Fran, swirly winds, so nice and cool as normal. What do you have?
Brandon Crawford is my BVP play. He is, let's see, 3,400 on DraftKings, 2,600 on Fanduel. He's hit 351 against Marquez, 13 hits and 37 at bats, 9 singles, 2 doubles, a triple, and a home run. Nice. So I like Brandon Crawford. I also like Wilmer Flores in this game. Ryan McMahon has good BVP against Logan Webb, and that's about it.
Okay. I like it. For me in this game, my value pitcher is Logan Webb. I like him against Colorado. We know Colorado stinks. We know they stink double on the road where they hit even way worse, almost 40 points less than they do in Coors Field. It's nice and cool. Webb's pitching fine. Now, I'm going to give you a warning here, though. They're not letting him go super deep. So, you know, I would go Carrasco and Lynn, and Webb being the third choice. But if you want to get frosty and get a judge or get somebody with a big bat in there, and you're looking for a cheap guy, Webb could be the guy. Now, he's not going to go more than 5 or 6 innings, though. But he can be effective enough against Colorado in that time frame.
Sure.
Small recommendation for Webb as cheap guy on DraftKings at 7,200 and 46 on Yahoo. I would not play Webb on Fanduel because he's 9,600 and he's not going to go deep enough to pay off that number. So be careful with him. But, that's a guy that I think is worth at least a look. But know that he's not going to go super deep in that game for sure. So a third option, a cheaper, $2,000 cheaper than Carrasco and Lynn on DraftKings if you're going with some big sticks. As far as bats in this game, Crash, for me, I'm not crazy about this game just because of the weather, the hitting conditions, and the ballpark. It's always just really tough there to get it done. So not a big bats game for me at all.
Yeah, I hear you. I'm with you there.
What are you doing in this game?
Oh, that's what I was saying earlier. I have Flores and Crawford.
Right.
My two main bats from San Francisco. I did have Lamonte Wade, but it looks like he's not in their lineup. So.
Yeah. I agree. Don't forget that too. Boy from Cali just brought up because we had him last time. I had him in every lineup. Pitched like 5 shutout innings, looked great, and then he got yanked 66 pitches. So could be exactly the same thing today, and that is definitely scary. Garbage Junkie Productions, you're here. I'm glad to see you in the here with us, and we want to keep growing it. Again, we're going to sort of go to a 3:45 p.m. as like our new true time, but we'll start experimenting with that, and we'll jump around once in a while as well. So,
yeah.
All right, let's review our top picks of the day, and then we'll get into Prize Picks and Boom, and we'll get on down the road because we have about 40 minutes till lock, Crash. I'll go first. I have Carrasco and Lynn, my top 2 pitchers. Webb as a third option if you're going to go up with all your bats, just on DraftKings, more than likely there. Fading Snell. Mullins is my BVP. Rizzo's my HR call. And that is it. What do you got?
I have Robbie Ray and Patrick Sandoval as my pitchers. I have Snell is my fade. I have Brandon Crawford is my BVP play. My stacks are the Braves, the Orioles, the Blue Jays, and my home run calls Austin Riley.
Nice. I forgot to say my stacks, my top stacks, the Astros. Second is the Braves. On Prize Picks, my 2 plays for the day are Lance Lynn over 35.5. That's a big number. And I only have him projected at 38, but I just like Lynn. I have so much confidence that he just digs in and goes deep. So I'm going to go over 35.5. And then Mullins over 6.5, small total for fantasy score. And he is obviously, as my BVP, I'm expecting a really good game from him. So those are my 2 on Prize Picks.
Okay. We also have the taco. I want to mention that it's 0.5 total bases for Aaron Judge. So he just needs a hit and that'll go over. And then we have, I have Patrick Sandoval over 32.5 fantasy score and Austin Riley over 1.5 total bases. He's my home run call. So I definitely like that over 1.5.
Very nice. I like those plays. Cedric Bad, how are you, man? Great to have you join us. I think you're new. I don't remember seeing you in here before. We'd love to have you join us every day. We're tomorrow at 3:45, and then it goes up if you want to watch it recorded. But we'd love to have you in here live with us. We need some new, good DFS bodies in here. So great to have you join. Boom Fantasy, I'm going to go with Mr. Riley over 0.5 run. So I like Austin to score runs. I think runs will be scored in that Braves side of it. And again, Mullins is one of my key guys today. I have him over 1.5 total bases. I think that's just a really solid play on Boom Fantasy.
So yesterday we were lockstep just about with all of our plays. And then throughout the course of this podcast, we've been fairly, on different sides.
Yeah.
We ended up with the exact same plays to end the podcast.
On Boom, you have the same two Boom Fantasy plays?
Two Boom Fantasy plays. Yep.
How is that possible?
I don't know, but I do. Austin Riley over 0.5 runs, Cedric Mullins over 1.5 total bases.
So. Wow. Your jaw had to drop when I said the second one. Like, are you?
Yeah, I was sitting here thinking, wait a minute, that sounds a lot like mine. So, yeah.
Fantastic. Well, outstanding. I mean, I think that's everything. We covered it. We've got a good 35 minutes till lock. We'll be providing lineups. If you become a member of Coach Talk, we give a 7-man core on DraftKings, both for single entry and GPP, and full lineups on Fanduel and Yahoo. And we've had a lot of members with a ton of success lately, either playing ours or tweaking and moving one guy around or two. And that seems to be really the magic information for sure. So, yep, I do need something, man. Hope I'm not getting sick, but I definitely have the sore throat going, no doubt about it. So I'll get some warm liquids in me. We've got a really, really busy schedule here at Coach Talk, and Crash and I will be here at 3:45 tomorrow for the baseball podcast. So that is it. Any final words, Crash?
No, just everybody enjoy the night. Hopefully, like I said, we were close last night. Hopefully we push through all the way tonight and have some monster takedowns to share with everybody in the morning.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you so much for joining in, everybody. And certainly come back with us again tomorrow. And we're excited to growing this family every day. So appreciate all of you taking the time to be with us. And we will see you again tomorrow when we look to crush it in MLB, DFS, PrizePicks, and Boom Fantasy.